Hello and welcome to a video on how to use some of the hidden features inside of Google Earth. This is specifically designed for teachers to look at and to see for themselves some of the possibilities so that they can create lessons using some of these features with their own kindergarten through 12th grade students. Well, let's just start with Google Earth here. Google Earth is a free program that you can download from Google, and you can install it onto your Mac or your PC, and it really gives you the ability to do quite a bit of things like moving the globe around and zooming in and zooming out, and you've probably seen all of those features, so let's go ahead and jump into some of the more advanced features. The first thing to think about is that your places can be saved and they can be given to other people as a package, and you can turn those into what they call a KMZ file that we'll get into a little bit later. The first thing I want you to take a look at, though, is let's just take a look really quickly. Notice that these are drop down arrows. Once I open them, they drop down and open up sites that I already have, and so if I double click on those, then it zooms in to that location that I wanted to show off. So one of the great things about using a program like Google Earth is that when you're studying a particular topic, maybe in history, maybe you're reading a book, you name it, a wide variety of possibilities that you can talk about in terms of how it relates geographically, and hopefully you're actually going to engage your students in the topic more because you're building their geographical literacy as you go, and they really get a feel for what's possible for being done. So here's an example. I have on the 3D buildings here, so you can see exactly where the National Lewis Campus is, right across from the Art Institute, for an example. And that's a nice thing to add in, and you can zoom around and see all these different places. Now keep in mind, 3D buildings are very bandwidth intensive. And so if you've got an entire group of students using this at the same time in your computer lab, you might have problems with doing something like this. You might decide not to have them all at the same time, and instead maybe have it be a unit that your students go to the computer or go as an assignment to download a particular KMZ file for them to take a look at. But this is more to just give you an idea of what it looks like. Now, so I've created these three sites with the different campuses. What I want to show you is that this can be exported and sent to a person to view. And I'm going to go ahead and click and show you an example of what a teacher has done with her class. Now this is Miss Tomko's class. I'm not exactly sure where she's located, but she has a wide variety of different KMZ files that have been pre-made. Either she made them or her students made them. These ones here, the 29K, that's very small, but if you look down here at this bottom one, you can see it's 3000K. So that indicates that this combining sentences KMZ is 3000K. It probably has a lot more details in terms of images and text and a variety of other things that come with it when you download it. So you can see there's wide variety of things. Now she also makes a reference to this Google Lit Trips. Besides being great for teaching history and showing things like historic Jamestown, you can also do these things called Google Lit Trips. Let's go to their website right now really quickly, and you can see on the Google Lit Trips site they've got it sorted out by grade level, and here are some commonly read books for that grade point. And you can see this one, Chasing Lincoln's Killer, that's student created. So a student created this and they put it up onto this site. The same thing is true of Blood on the River. This one's student created. This one isn't, and you can see that it isn't. Maybe it's going to be a different quality than these other ones, but it can be created by your students, which would really be a great way to kind of get at those higher order thinking skills and making sure students are really understanding the real depth of what a book is all about. Well, so if I were to click on this, it would download and instantly open up right over here in this area, and I don't want to open up that one, I want to open up Blood on the River. Notice that when I click on Blood on the River and I open it up, all these other different locations of this book open up. Well, so let's go take a look. I'm going to go to the Starving Time at Jamestown. This picture has been added by that student, and there's also an explanation of what was happening in that Starving Time location that is now being is taking us to that same location. So you could read through this, and then there would be questions about things like how many or how were 90% of the Indians killed when Europeans came to America, and what do you think the settlers could have done to preserve food? This is a great way to have students open up this location and answer specific questions. Plus, there's also words that you could add into this. And if I close this down, you can see this is where we ended up. Well, where exactly did we end up? Well, let's back up a little bit. Let's take a look back. And again, now students get the idea of where all of these things are located because they can look at the much bigger picture of where that Jamestown is located. So it gives them that ability to make connections with other states that maybe they're familiar with and trying to see exactly what else is happening. If we want to look at the Algonquin language, again, the student found this picture on the internet, linked to it, and then also put in the words that they wanted to have go along with the picture. So this is, again, a KMZ file that bundles all of this information and allows you to very easily download it for others to view. So once we take a look at that, I'm now want to show you there's a wide variety of other ones that you can go to. I'm going to go show you Frankenstein, for example. What this does is it takes you to this very detailed description of all the different locations that took place in the Frankenstein book, including it does have places like the birthplace of Mary Shelley. So here's a picture of Mary Shelley, and now it's going into her birthplace right here. And so you can see some of the other areas that are nearby. And again, if you want borders and labels here, you can add those into it. I'm going to turn off 3D buildings because that takes up so much bandwidth, but you can again see all of the different locations around where she was born. And if you want to, you just click again and you can see that's where who she is and where she was born. All right, so again, I'm going to collapse that, bring it back up. And now let's go and actually take a look at how do we add this. Now here I've got the starting of a KMZ file for National Louis, and this is just to show you how you would create your own. Now I have one for Skokie and Chicago and Wheeling. Now let's add the Elgin Campus here. I'm going to go here first and find the address for the Elgin Campus, and it's right here. So I'm going to copy that using Edit and Copy. And now I'm going to go back here. Now this is all the places, but the first thing I've got to do is search up here. So I'm going to paste, edit and paste, and search. And there it is. It's going to leave London and a quick ride across the ocean. And we're back here into Illinois. This is the actual location that it found for that address. Well, I happen to know that that's actually across the street from the campus. So I want to go in, and I'm going to zoom in on just a little bit more. And by the way, I can't really use that little red teardrop there. What I need to do is use the pin up here at the top. And I'm going to pinpoint exactly where I want it to be. That is where the door is to the National Louis campus there. And I'm now going to call this NLU Elgin Campus. And now let's actually add a link to an image. Now when I click on Add Image, I can't link to something that's on my computer already. I have to do it to a link to a picture that's on the internet already. So to do that, I'm going to bounce back here. This picture is as good as any. So I'm going to click and do a right click on it. Now if you're on a Mac or a PC, it doesn't really matter. On your Mac, you're going to hold down Control while you click on this and go to Copy Image URL. So once you've copied that, it's in your temporary memory, and you go over here and now you are going to paste. There it is. And Don't forget to click on OK here before you click on OK here. It's really important. The other thing is, let's add, you could put a link here. Let's get this one right here. I'm going to go to Edit and Copy. Go back here and paste and OK. Press Return again. And let's now put some text in with this. Alright, so I want to put this text in there. And this will show up for the person who I send this KMZ file to. Click here and paste. Now it's not going to look as pretty as some of those other ones because I'm not using HTML programming to put this in. It might end up being kind of a jumble once I'm all done with this. But you can do formatting later on if you like. But let's take a look at what we have so far. I'm going to click on OK. It put it right in here with the NLU. Now let's click on our pin, and there we are. Here's the picture. It's linking to the image that's already on the web. Here's the address that if I were to click on it, it would take me right there, and then it's got the information right here that's there. Now if you had more time, you definitely could go in and do a little bit more with formatting, but this is really the absolute easiest thing to do to get started. And now I can click and close this down. Again, you can see that if I want to go to these other ones, I'm going to go over here to the Elgin Campus, make sure that all of my information is correct for that. When I click on it, I want to make sure there's a picture and I've got information provided, just like the Mary Shelley had talked about where she was. I don't know, that's actually in a different location. But I'm going to close that down because the campus is right here, and I could go in and relocate where this is by clicking and putting it right there. And I can go ahead and type in NLU Wheeling. Let's do all this again so you see how to do it. I'm going to add an image. I go back over here, find that image of the Elgin Campus, copy the image URL. I'm going to go back over here. Notice I'm just clicking back and forth between my internet browser and Google Earth, and paste, and don't forget OK. I like to put in a little bit of space there, and again I'm now going to copy that and paste it in. I click on OK. Now this one right here I don't like. I'm going to do a right click on that, or control click if you're on a Mac, and I'm going to delete that one, and OK. So here's NLU Wheeling, and let's click. Not bad. OK. Now I could go ahead and add in all the other campuses for National Louis, and one of the things that I'm going to do right now is I'm going to actually do again a right click on this NLU one. Let's say you wanted to add in this Elgin Campus that's up here at the top in with that. I can just click and drag this down into that KMZ file. Here we are. So now we're actually going to have two. I'll put it on this one. Whoop. I'm going to have two Elgin ones there. That's okay though for what we're trying to do right now. And I can move these up. I can make these a little bit fatter if I need to so I can see it a little better. But now this whole thing is going to be my KMZ file that I can attach into an email, or I can post onto a web page. I'm going to right click and save place as. And this is the important thing. I can call this anything I want. And here is KMZ. Now KML is a very different thing. We're going to do KMZ for now. I'm going to put this right onto my desktop and save. So in other words, now I have a new file called nlucampuses.kmz that I could attach into a file, or I could post onto a website for people to look at, and they would see all of those immediately there. Think about all the possibilities that are here for you